LiberalViewer present.
So Sarah Palin's July 3rd announcement that she's quitting her job as governor of Alaska seemed rambling and almost incoherent, not just to a liberal viewer, but also to conservative commentator George Will, appearing last week on ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos, commenting on Sarah Palin's announcement here.
I've read it once and seen it twice, and I still have no idea why she did this.
Now, Sarah Palin's lack of explanation for her strange behavior comes on the heels of a recent article in Vanity Fair that you can find online at tinyurl.com/PalinVanity, and that not only included more Republican attacks on Palin from her former colleagues in the McCain campaign, but more interesting to me included these two sentences. More than once in my travels in Alaska, people brought up without prompting the question of Palin's extravagant self-regard. Several told me independently of one another that they had consulted the definition of, quote, narcissistic personality disorder, unquote, in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, quote, a pervasive pattern of grandiosity and fantasy or behavior, need for admiration and lack of empathy, unquote, and thought it fit her perfectly. The author of that Vanity Fair article, Todd Purdom, also appeared last week on ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos and supported that quote by saying his sources in Alaska painted the personality picture of Palin he described in this clip.
She takes everything very personally. She has a sort of grandiose sense of her own place in the cosmos. She has an unrealistic sense of what people should expect of her and what she should be required to deliver. And I think in some ways, as puzzling as her statement was on Friday, it is of a piece with that. It is of a piece with this person who does not seem to operate in any conventional sense the way a politician would, who knows she has to live to fight another day, who should keep her enemies close, her friends close, but her enemies closer.
So Sarah Palin's self-involvement borders on a personality disorder, according to the reporting of Vanity Fair as shown on ABC News, though, of course, over on Fox News, I saw no talk of Sarah Palin's craziness unless, of course, you want to count the craziness included in neocon commentator Bill Kristol's analysis as Sarah Palin was making her announcement that you can hear in this clip.
Maybe she's crazy like a fox, you know? Gives this up. She gives up the governorship at the end of the year. She writes her book. She starts doing some speeches. She has much more time to travel around, meet with experts. Suddenly you could look up in late 2010 and there she is, a charismatic, attractive politician who has spent the last year traveling around the country building up political and intellectual contacts. I don't rule out that it's a stroke of genius.
Now, whether this possible stroke of genius makes Sarah Palin look crazy like a fox will depend on future events, I guess, but whether Sarah Palin is crazy like someone with a personality disorder may be more discernible from her past behavior, so to figure it out for myself, I consulted the actual Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders put out by the American Psychiatric Association and found that, like the Vanity Fair article said, someone with a narcissistic personality disorder shows a pervasive pattern of grandiosity and fantasy or behavior, need for admiration, and lack of empathy beginning by early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 5 or more of the following. 1. Has a grandiose sense of self-importance, e.g., exaggerates achievements and talents, expects to be recognized as superior without commensurate achievements. 2. Is preoccupied with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. 3. Believes that he or she is special and unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high-status people. 4. Requires excessive admiration. 5. Has a sense of entitlement, i.e., unreasonable expectations of especially favorable treatment or automatic compliance with his or her expectations. 6. Is interpersonally exploitive, i.e., takes advantage of others to achieve his or her own ends. 7. Lacks empathy, is unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of others. 8. Is often envious of others or believes that others are envious of him or her. And 9. Shows arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes. So what do you think? Based on Sarah Palin's public behavior, do you agree more with Bill Kristol that she's crazy like a fox, or more with Vanity Fair's sources in Alaska that she's crazy like someone with a narcissistic personality disorder? And whatever your answer to that question, since narcissism has never been a barrier to a successful political career, when Sarah Palin quit her job as governor of Alaska, was it a stroke of genius, a political error, or something else?
YouTube, you decide.